Ukraine's bloodiest day of clashes. In the past 2 days alone, 75 people, including policemen, have been killed, many reportedly by snipers. Scenes like these persuaded the EU to impose sanctions on the Ukrainian officials it says are responsible for the violence.
But in the light of the deteriorating situation, we decided as a matter of urgency we needed to look at targeted sanctions. We've agreed to suspend export licences for equipment for internal repression. And we've asked the relevant working bodies of the Council to make the necessary preparations immediately.
The US has already announced visa bans on 20 members of the Ukrainian government, but not provided any names.
The result that we're trying to get to here is an end to the violence on both sides and conversations between the opposition and the government about a unity government that could be formed, about a technical government that would reflect the will and aspirations of the Ukrainian people.
Ukrainian MPs assembled in Parliament for a vote condemning the excessive force. They also called for the use of weapons against protesters to be banned and for troops to be withdrawn. Foreign ministers of France, Poland and Germany have held hours of discussions with Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych and the opposition to find a solution. The protests erupted in November when Yanukovych rejected a landmark trade deal with the EU in favour of closer ties with Russia. The demonstrations spread across Ukraine with protesters demanding snap elections. And no end to the tense standoff is in sight as activists rebuild the barricades at Independence Square, a precaution against any further police attacks.
Protests have escalated against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's socialist government, with 5 fatalities reported since violence broke out last week. Now Maduro is threatening to expel CNN due to their coverage of the raging protests.
I asked the communications minister to notify CNN to start the administrative process of removing them from Venezuela if they don't rectify their story. CNN, go from Venezuela and stop with your war propaganda. I don't accept war propaganda.
No acepto propaganda de guerra contra Venezuela.
Security forces and demonstrators continue to face off in streets blocked by burning barricades in several cities. The mostly student protesters want Maduro out and blame his government for the country's violent crime.
Police in Myanmar raised their riot shields to fend off a hail of plastic bottles from seemingly angry demonstrators. But these clashes are just an exercise in cloud control with the help of European trainers. The European Union hopes this training will help to modernise the Myanmar police force and also shed its hardline image after decades of harsh military rule.
In doing so, we have tried to work in very good collaboration to give the overall rationale of their work, which should be the protection of human rights, the protection of fundamental freedoms of the citizens of this country.
And it seems to be working.
Let me conclude by saying that if we continue this course, we could create a modern Myanmar police force which could be reliable in the very near future.
The programme aims to train a total of 4,000 police over the next year. It was introduced after a series of crackdowns and religious unrest drew criticism that local police had not reformed in line with the country's political changes. Inside this Cairo prison, 3 Al Jazeera journalists are being tried for joining and aiding a terrorist organisation. They're among 20 people accused, with some of the charges carrying sentences ranging from 5 to 15 years. Lawyers for Mohamed Fahmy, Peter Grest and Bayer Mohamed, along with 5 others, were refused bail. Back home in Australia, Grest's parents are devastated.
He's been maligned, blacklisted. He's in the place of the worst of the worst. I hope you understand that I was ready to explode. Where is natural justice? Where is compassion? Where is human dignity in all this?
Al Jazeera denies aiding the Muslim Brotherhood, a political organisation which the authorities have fiercely cracked down on since the military ousted its leader, President Mohamed Morsi, in July.
We believe we will be acquitted. The lawyers are fully on board with us. They fully believe in our case. They fully believe that we were just operating as journalists. We don't have an agenda. We've got nothing against Egypt. We certainly don't lie or do biased reporting. So we believe we believe that we are innocent.
Outside the prison gates, the reporters gather for the start of the trial that's raised concerns of freedom of speech in Egypt.